Frankie?
Hey.
Hey.
It's me. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm really good.
Good. Thank you so much for giving me your time today. I really appreciate it, and I will try very hard to be respectful of it.
No, I appreciate you doing it. Seriously, it's great.
So in all my research of you over the past week, it's funny because I have learned that the secret to getting a lot of gigs is not being an asshole, and you have to be the coolest fucker on the planet because, like, this shit is going to need a Venn diagram intersecting at, like, genre. Like, I really don't even know how to explain to people what's going on here.
Right. No, it's a crazy story. It's funny. You think you're having trouble. I have trouble all the time. People ask me, like, even yesterday, they were like, hey, how did you meet these guys? And it's like, that's not an easy question.
I can
answer.
I can see that now, how that could not be an easy question, and I could also see how it could be a little messy in areas too, and that's never fun. That's never fun. All right, so before I eat up all the time bullshitting, I'm gonna jump right in, and let's just talk about.
If we go over, we go over. It's all good. Do what you gotta do.
You tell me, because like I created like 5 different documents depending on how much time you had. So,
Okay.
So you tell me.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about your frontman stuff first, which I'm supposed to not be editorializing. That's for the piece.
Okay.
But you blow me away, man. You really fucking do. It's.
Thank you.
Did you have to? Does it come naturally, or did you have to learn it, or both? Or I mean, like, you're just a fucking star. Like, that just doesn't happen out of nowhere. I know that.
Right. Thank you so much. You know, well, the technical side of it, like the singing, it's like anything else. I had to work at it. You know what I mean? Like I've been singing all my life, and I've been developing it. And I'm just talking about the technical aspect of what I do.
Sure.
We'll get to the other things. So, and it really started to evolve, and I was really starting to get a hold of it once I started stretching and listening to like the singers, you know, the Otis Reddings, the Wilson Pickett's. That's how I learned my control, you know, and no matter what I do, whether it be with Deadline Ritual or my own thing, that always comes through. It's funny, people are like, where'd you get that scream? I'm like, they're like, what did you listen to? Was it Phil on Summer? I'm like, no, it's actually like Howlin' Wolf. That's the truth. Like, no one can hang with that scream. Like, that's where I learned that stuff.
Right.
The thing about my stage, I guess my stage presence, I've been entertaining people one way or another since I was a kid. Like, if it wasn't being a class clown, it was, you know, dancing and singing at a family party. I also learned that people need it. People need to be entertained. There's life is hard enough as it is, you know what I mean? And so, like, if you could I learned that if I could bring joy to someone's life for 3 minutes at a time, at a song or a set, that I could just be helpful, you know? And so I've just taken that through my entire career. It's like, you know, even when I'm having a rough day or I'm up there, I try to live through it, and I try to relate to the crowd in one way or another. And so as far as my presence, you know, I think it's something that you know, I guess I was blessed with, and also it's a conscious decision to entertain people.
You know, you said something interesting there. When do you most need to be entertained?
When I'm borderline ADD, so I need to be entertained at all times. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a manic guy, so it's like I need to be entertained 24/7, or if not, that's how I get in trouble.
Okay. I love how you mentioned Otis Redding and Wilson Pickett and the scream, because I have the scream in here, and I feel like what's interesting is, like, there's a million different Frankies, but the scream is carried throughout. The scream is, you bring it everywhere. And And I think there's that Vegas morning show that you were doing something with Dirty and the Phil Three Horns, and the scream showed up there. I'm like, what the fuck?
The scream is a guttural thing. It's like that I never do it in vain. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a guttural thing. It's like, I'm feeling that moment. I'm in it. And it's a great way to get people's attention too.
Oh, yeah, it's an attention getter, all right. Especially when you're doing a harmonica solo with the crystal method, and it just comes at it. That's one of my favorite uses of the scream, was that night, I think. I don't know why, but it just fucking worked.
You know what happened that night, which is pretty incredible. Like, people don't realize that. You know that or maybe you do. Like, you're very intuitive with that stuff. You know, that was free flow. That was completely off the cuff, because what happened was the second song, when I turned around, Scott pulled me over. He goes, "Dude, we have no track." So he said, "We have no track." So we improvised that entire thing.
Oh my God! Well, yeah. I mean, that's where you spot the pros. I did not know that. But that's where you spot the pros, and that's where, you know, when you go to these jam nights, and I'm only in LA for 10 months, so I'm still having my mind blown every week by these people because they're so good, and I'm like, of course they're fucking good. I live in Hollywood now. This is normal. This is bar. Okay? Excellent. They're not in the club anymore. You know what I mean? So,
right, absolutely.
Yeah, it took a little while there. Hopefully that'll never wear off, though. Hopefully I'll keep having my mind blown each week and not, like, get bored. But some of these kids are running around here from MI and Berkeley, and, man, they really know what they want, and they have no fucking clue how to get there. Would you be able to tell them what would you say to them?
Just perseverance. I know it's corny, but, like, you got to be willing to give it all up, you know. Good, bad, and indifferent. It's you got to be willing to sacrifice a lot. I know I have, you know, and to keep at it. If this is what you want to do, you got to do it. You know, like I know people that are like, yeah, I'm a musician, you know, and then but I'm also a mason, and I do that 60 hours a week, and I'm like, well, one of the two are suffering.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like one of the two. Either you're a terrible bricklayer or you're not a great musician. I hate to say that. It's just, if you want to get to that level where it's this is what you do for a living. This is what's going to carry you through emotionally for the rest of your life. You got to commit 100%, which is what I did. You know, you know, I'm not proud of this, and it's something that will probably haunt me for the rest of my life. But you know, now I have 3 children. My 2 oldest kids actually live with me now, but I missed everything. You know what I mean? On the road, I missed the first words. I missed the first steps. You know, and it's like, because I was out here doing this. You know, and everyone has you know, benefited from it. You know, they have a good life, and my little one that lives in Chicago they have a good life, but I've had to sacrifice a lot, you know, and for this thing, you know.
No, yeah, I mean, I can't personally relate, but obviously it's not the first story I've heard like that. And I think that was when I stopped becoming a fan of bands and started becoming a fan of players. Was when I started to understand the sacrifice, and that changed, that put me on a whole new trajectory, which was completely fucked up. But that's a whole other. That's my story, not yours. So,
well, I'll give you an example. I've known throughout my career, I've known some of the sickest musicians, right? Sickest musicians, like talented all the way through, like, and that live in their studios.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like literally live in a rehearsal space. You know, I know a guy offhand. I won't out him like that, but it's like, I know a guy offhand that I would put up against any guitar player I know. The guy's living out of a rehearsal space. You know, because anything else, he can't afford it. You know, his money is spent on amps and gear and getting to the next gig and gas to travel. It's like, it's it's a lifestyle. I don't recommend that to anybody. If you're at that point, like, hey, you might want to get a job. But
Right.
you know what I mean? That shows the kind of sacrifice, and he's respected.
Well, oh, that's I mean, bonus then. You know, because that is a big fucking sacrifice to be living out of your studio. And yeah, that shit is expensive. I'm a gearhead. I know what's going on there. So that is a big sacrifice. So I'm glad the guy's at least getting respect.
Yeah, 100%. He's got it from me. I know that's a fact.
Well, that's good. You seem like you're a good friend. You seem like the kind of guy you'd want to have your back.
Oh, thanks for saying that. Yeah.
Well, it's true. It's true. It's you know, you've a commanding presence. I mean, I saw it the first time you opened your mouth, and like you made Sorum and DeLeo and Lukather disappear. Like I'm like, wow. Who's that fucking guy? And I found that it's funny because I was looking for that clip for Pride since I took it from the Adopt the Arts from last year, and I finally found it this week. And I was like, this is the moment. This is the moment I met my next muse. I feel so bad for him.
That's really rad.
So, when did you pick up the guitar, and was there formal training there? Was there formal training with the vocals?
No, I've never taken a guitar lesson, piano lesson, or drum lesson. But I did take when I got my first record deal with Atlantic, with Lava. I was like 20. We hit the road when I was about 23, and I think that was around the time. Yeah, and we're about to hit the road, and I was like, I looked at the calendar, I looked at the tour schedule, and I was like, oh shit, this is a lot of dates. Like I might wanna go like learn some warm ups. You know what I mean? Like I might want to go figure something out so I can make these dates. So I did find a vocal teacher here in Las Vegas that I basically go to and get tune-ups here and there, like kind of see where my range is at. We work out new warm-ups, but you know, I'm 43 and I've probably been to him 4 times, you know,
right.
in my entire career, but no formal training anyplace else. My first instruments were the drums.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My father bought me, I started playing like Cuban percussion. So my heritage is I'm Cuban. Both of my parents are from Cuba. And
yeah, I find that very cool, by the way. I read about that. I also lived in Miami for a little while. So, and it was right around the same time you did, or you left, at least.
Oh, wow, what a trip.
Well, yeah, I went to University of Miami. I was waiting tables. We're the same age.
Oh, get out of here. I thought you were younger than I was.
I thought you were younger than I was. Or I thought you could have gone either way, but I thought you were younger than I was. And we're the same age, and you're 16 days older than me. And the only reason why I sound like an idiot saying that is because you have the same birthday as my dad.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so crazy. I had no clue how old you were, and then in like the third day of research stumbled upon your birthday, and I was like, oh, so we're like the exact same age, and we're both Pisces. That's great.
Well, yeah, we're artists.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say we're fucked up.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
So I forgot where were we at? You asked me something. I was like, what was that last question?
Well, you were you were telling me about the no formal training. So
no formal training. My first instrument, my dad gave me we started buying like cute percussion, like timbales and bongo, and so my first introduction into music was rhythm, which basically every instrument after that, including my voice, I actually use like drummers. When I play guitar, it's very percussive. When I sing, it's all about the phrasing.
That's so interesting because you know what? One of my favorite things about your fronting style is how you cue the band, and it's usually the fucking drummer, right? I can see how that translates.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then so that's basically it. And then one thing led to another. Guitar and piano were simultaneous because what I would do is I would figure out a chord on the piano, hold the shape with my hand on my left hand, and then or my right hand, and then find those notes on the guitar neck.
Get out! Is that the fucking secret?
One taught the other. Well, I used them both. I learned those simultaneously. So I learned a chord on a guitar, and then I would reverse it, and then I'd find that chord with my right hand. I'm by no means like that's the one thing I'll tell you. I'm a knucklehead guitar player, knucklehead piano player, but I get the job done. It's enough to I know enough to write a song and play rhythm for anyone. You know.
I'd say, I mean, I heard all your records. I heard all your solo records, and I'd say you do. Your composition style is so unique because it was like I'm having this like genre challenge in my head, and then I listened to the first 2 tracks off your first album ever, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This guy's going across genre. I mean, and you closed Cecilia with like this Van Halen live drum fucking outro. What? I honestly had to stop tape at that point, like in my head, and I was just laughing.
That's funny. That's funny. You know what's crazy is that what you're saying has been a big detriment in my career. Like what you find interesting and what people do, he does this, he does that, it's actually been very detrimental to my career because even back then I remember like radio stations or A&R guys like saying, oh man, this record's amazing, this guy is so talented and his command of a stage, but what is he? You know, is he a rock guy? Is he a singer-songwriter? Is he a Latin artist? You know, so it's been tough, you know, and that's part of the reason why I've had to kind of like pick a lane, you know what I mean? And like, you know what I mean? And pick a lane. That's once I started getting hired as this is a rock singer.
Yeah.
I had to pick a lane. I was like, well, I'm going to be a rock singer. You know what I mean? Like my main thing is that, and that's what keeps me working, and that's what reaches the most people. So I'm going to do that, and then everything else is going to be gravy, and I'll do that at my own pace, you know?
Wow, that is super fucking interesting. Because first of all, I get it 1,000%. Because I've been on job interviews where it's like, oh, gee, you're a master of all trades. Well, no, you know what's the saying?
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master of none. I have totally had those moments in my life, and because my day job, I have a marketing firm, which I think you know. So it's like I can definitely appreciate that as being a detriment. And were you disappointed when you found that like, okay, I better pick a fucking lane, or?
No, not at all. I mean, it was frustrating. It's frustrating when you're trying to like, you know, be successful at this game. You know what I mean? But I don't, because I love it. That's the thing. Is that I genuinely love all of those genres, and I genuinely love rock. It's like nothing. I don't do anything in vain, or you'd be able to read it because I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know what I mean? If I was faking the funk, everyone would know. Because I have the worst tell.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
But I thought you were a fucking criminal. What kind of criminals have bad tells?
The criminals. The ones that get caught.
The ones that get caught. Well, I'm glad you got busted, buddy. Oh my God, you're too much fun. You really are. So, do you have like a big break story, or even like a true Hollywood story, or can you point to a moment where life just changed for you after a particular project or meeting or even piece of advice?
I'm sorry. One more time on that. I'm wearing buds, and I forgot to turn off the
Oh.
I'm wearing buds. Yeah, I forgot to turn off the ringer, and I just got a text, but so I just turned that off.
Well, tell Sorum to leave us the fuck alone. Tell Sorum and Stevens and whoever the fuck else your friends are. No, I'm just teasing.
Funny thing is that was Matt. So.
Oh my God! All right, I'm totally just kidding, because what I did at the Rainbow was totally Jersey Jen not knowing where she was.
All good. So what was that question again? I'm sorry.
No problem. Do you have like a big break story, or even a true Hollywood story almost, or something that you could point to where it just, the tides shift and things changed and things started happening for you?
Well, I'll tell you how the root of how I'm here, of how I'm at this point. There's two things. There's two things. I was in a band called Scars on Broadway, which was a big turning point for me. That's the guys from that's John and Darren from System.
Yeah.
That exposed me to a lot of people. It was the first time I wasn't a band leader. I learned a lot of like how to be a side band, what to do, what not to do. But Coachella, there was that year that Scars on Broadway played Coachella. Maybe you could find that. I can't remember what year it was. Where there's a big buzz around the band. It was the first project Darren had done since System, and we played one of those tents, and it was just huge. It was, 5,000 people, 8,000 people crammed into this tent, and that band was sick. That band was firing on all cylinders. That was anarchy of the heart. You know what I mean? That band, and I'm on stage right. Is stage right when you're looking out, or how does that work? Stage right is
when you're looking out. How are you asking me that? That's bizarre.
Because there is no stage left or stage right when I perform. It's just the stage. But, so anyways,
that's true.
Yeah, so I was stage right, and Sorum was on my side of the stage, just watching us from side stage, and we killed that night. Now, fast forward, there's rumblings that Velvet Revolver's looking for a guy. I get an opportunity to do a audition, and that audition was singing at a Camp Freddy show, right?
Oh, so boy.
My audition was singing at a Camp Freddy show with Slash in the audience.
Jeez.
And Storm on drums. So when this came up, Storm was like, yeah, I know that dude. I saw him with Scars on Broadway, right? So there was an instant, oh yeah, we know that guy. Let's hear him out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that night that I played with Camp Freddy basically exposed me to all of those dudes, to that entire camp, to Slash, to Duff, to Kushner, to Matt, to Dave Navarro, to Billy Morrison, to Chris Chaney. It was like, that was the moment.
That is insane.
Yeah, that was the moment that all those guys, that I met all those guys, and what's crazy is that they're all my close friends, and I'm so thankful to all of them. Like, I got to tell you, they've all put me to work in certain capacities, in individual capacities. I could pick up the phone right now, and on a personal level, professional level, they'll pick up and help me out. But there's a moment of why I'm here now. That's it. That day was it.
Wow. It's crazy how a moment of time can really just the right person in the right place, or whatever it is. And it wasn't until something like that happened to me that I realized, damn, like the directions in life that they take. Well, I'm really glad you're surrounded by all those guys. I was watching a lot of stuff with you and Billy yesterday, because I love the Cult, and I love you with Steve. That's a great matchup. You guys have such great chemistry.
Are you talking about Stevens?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And what's crazy about that is that around that time that I'm talking about at Camp Freddy, that audition, Steve was just getting in that camp as well, doing the Camp Freddy stuff, and we hit it off back then. We were like, even though Steve has had all this notoriety, and he's a Grammy winner, and he's and so revered as a player, we both were kind of underdogs in that little scene, and we basically cut our teeth together in that scene, in that Camp Freddy scene. So this has been, this project has been, working with Steve now, has been in the making for years,
That's great. Were you the obvious choice for Deadland Ritual, considering all the work you'd done with Matt and Steve?
Well, this was a concept. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't like an audition thing. This is the concept that we three have had together.
Okay.
Steve and I Steve and I have been talking about doing a band for years, and we knew exactly what we wanted to do. And then us three have played together so much that we were tossing around this idea for years. So finally, the thing about this business and guys that have had success and that are on the national level, right, is that people want to do projects. They want to have side projects. You hear it all the time, but it's just that doing it, getting to that point where you just do it. You know what I mean? You put your money where your mouth is, and you just do it. That's so difficult,
Mm-hmm.
And us three, we committed. We're like, we're gonna make this fucking happen. That's it. Like, we're gonna commit to it. Rain, sleet, or snow, hell or high water, we're gonna figure this out. And here we are. And I gotta tell you, it's it. It's my lane. It's everything I've wanted in a band, and the addition of Geezer, there was nobody else that could have done this gig.
That's tremendous. Yeah.
There's no one else. There's no one else. Like, there's amazing bass players. I know the greatest bass players out there. You know what I mean? But no one could have done this gig and completed this vision if it wasn't Geezer.
Wow. Well, I mean, I'm so excited to hear more from you, because I've only heard the one song, and I think you leaked one on Sirius a couple weeks ago, but I missed the broadcast. So
Right.
I'm just like thirsting for more, But I'll be there at the Troubadour. I'll be waiting.
Right on. Yeah, it's coming in May, so that single will be dropping in May.
That's exciting. And you're going to Europe soon.
Yeah, we go to Europe early June. We're doing that debut show at the Troubadour on the 28th, and then we got a couple days, and then we start in June.
If you had the option of performing at the Download Festival with somebody else's material, or performing at your home venue with just your material for 300 people, which would you choose?
And are you talking about Deadline Ritual, or are you talking about me personally?
I'm talking about working with any band where the composition is not 100% your own.
Oh yeah, I would take 300 with my stuff any day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who has the heavy hand in Deadland? Can you tell me that?
There isn't one. I'm not bullshitting you. It's
Okay.
like this is a democracy through and through. You know what I mean?
Even at the writing table.
Oh yeah, the writing table, everything. This is a full on democracy. Like we all have to agree. But I'll tell you, the veto power is Geezer. That, I mean, at the end of the day, he's so kind and open minded. But if we're on the fence about anything, we defer to Geezer. He's the coolest one of the bunch.
That's funny.
He really is. He's the guy. So if we need a tiebreaker, if there's something we're questioning, we defer to Geezer. But
I love that.
But in terms of the writing and the decision making, it's a partnership, and that's also what's amazing. You would think that there would be bigger egos and that kind, but it's not. We have something to prove, and we know that we can't do it. We know that we can't do it unless we do it together.
That's That's refreshing to hear, and I think you guys are lucky, because, I mean, you've been around long enough to know that shit doesn't work like that.
Oh shit! I've been in the room with the biggest egos in the business.
Oh my God, you've obviously seen stuff I can only imagine about or watch on Netflix. Have you seen The Dirt yet?
Yeah, I saw it the other night. It's that opening scene is insane.
Oh my God, that opening! That's all I can talk about is that opening scene.
I was like, can they even get away with that? I was like, is that even allowed?
Well, apparently it took 10 years to make, so it would be allowed, right? It was interesting. There's that scene, you know, the replace Vince scene, and I know that actually hit home for me. That I had to stop and be like, oh, that was hard to watch.
Yeah. It's tough.
Yeah, and that was only from a voyeur perspective, you know, from what I saw people go through in my own market.
Right.
But you went through something pretty similar. So, the Velvet Revolver stuff, I mean, you answered the question in a very politically correct way, and what I assume to be a genuinely heartfelt, honest way when you say that there's just no one who could replace the guy. You know, whatever happened in studio, whatever happened that the project didn't launch, whatever happened that if it had to do with Slash's other project or whatever, like, I don't fucking give a fuck.
Right.
But did that scene bring up shit for you? Like, did that scene, like, go, oh, yeah, I've been there, and did it make you reflect on that at all? And when you do reflect on it, you know, what are you thinking?
Well, not at all. It's funny, not at all. I didn't even think of that. I didn't think twice about that. I mean, I am now, but
Great.
I did it when I saw it, and
I've just ruined the movie.
it's all good. Because here's the thing, that whole situation wasn't a bad situation for me. You
Right.
know, it was heartbreaking to have it and for it to go away, but at the same time, it was, in hindsight, looking back, if I had gotten that gig, if we had moved forward, a lot of things that have happened since wouldn't have. Look, those are all I consider all those guys my friends, right? There was never any beef. And what's crazy is I've worked with every single one of them individually. You know, it's like maybe Velvet Revolver didn't happen for me, but I've worked with Duck individually. I've worked with Slash. Dave Kushner's one of my best friends, and now I happen to be in a band with Matt Sorum. You know what I mean?
And you were in a crystal method fucking video the other day, and out of nowhere pops Fortis, and I'm like, what the fuck? Is this guy the fifth Beatle of Guns N' Roses or what?
Right.
Go on.
So anyways, that not getting it was a blessing as well. I have no ill will towards it whatsoever. It was a big part of my career, and it's been nothing but helpful, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I know it put you on Apocalyptica's radar. That's that was an interesting project. What about it appealed to you?
Well, I love to surround myself with players at the top of their game, right? Like, you know, I will, for the most part, I'll jump on a stage with anyone if there's a mic. But the only way to excel, the only way to I believe better yourself as a musician is you got to continue to challenge yourself. You know, and those guys, those 4 guys that I went on the road with, that I made that record with, Miko, Aka, Pertu, and Pavo, it was like witnessing greatness, and I'm not just saying that. Like, those guys, what they do on those instruments, and the way they live their life to get to that point, I got to be on a band. I got to be on a stage with greatness every night. You know, and you know, getting that gig, I had to step up. You know, like, these are guys with perfect pitch. You know what I mean? These are guys that literally have perfect pitch. These are guys that have played with the greatest musicians in the world and studied with the greatest musician in the world. You can't phone it in. You know what I mean? And so that was that was some serious training being with those guys like that. I learned a lot being in a band with those guys, and I really bettered as a musician.
Jeez, were you intimidated at all? Were there moments?
Well, I mean, there were moments where I was like, I don't know if this is even out there, if you ever read that, but I never met them. I met them on a Skype call, and my first gig was with those guys. My first gig was those guys headlining at a theater in Canada. We met backstage. We never rehearsed together. We literally went over, not even the entire song. We didn't have enough time. My flight got in late. So we just went over parts backstage, and then we were on stage within 2 hours of meeting each other. So that was a little intimidating. But,
right.
Those are the moments. Those are the moments that define you, and then what's crazy is my second show with those guys was the next day opening up for Metallica.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so if there was anything that was going to be intimidating, it was that.
Yeah, I imagine. How do you look back on that show? How'd that go?
The Metallica show?
Yeah.
Oh, that was, I don't forget it, we were the opener, and they told us there's this huge catwalk. There's a great photo out there of me flipping off the camera and this, right, and it was my second show because they told us, hey, stay off the catwalk. And I was like, yeah, right, go fuck yourself. Stay off the catwalk.
Apparently they didn't know who they were talking to.
Yeah, and so my first show was like two songs in, I was out there. I was on the catwalk in the middle of the crowd and just loving it, and I had those four guys behind me, just supporting it, go do it, buddy, and that was it. That was the beginning. That was the day after we sat together, we watched Metallica, all four of us, and we took a walk around the fairground or wherever it was that show was at, and Aika turns to me and he goes, "You want this? You want to make this full time?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" That was it. That was the show.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I said, asking all these. It was hard to almost write up questions for you because of the so many genres, and it's like I try and make them transitional, even though I should be responding to your replies. And even then, it was hard to group these questions because I'm talking about songwriting and I'm going from, Cecilia and Two Lost Angels to, The Reckoning or Reckoning. And so actually, can we talk about The Reckoning? Can we go there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. The origins of that song. I mean, I see in the 3 albums, plus you have the level with Christian, I know, but with the 3 albums specifically, you really gravitate toward the narrative, which is interesting because, I don't know the Vegas market well in terms of singer-songwriter and where that's from, but, I come from, the Bruce school, and I'm like, what? What?
Hey, don't get it mixed up. I come from the Bruce school too.
And when I watch you, it's all there. I actually call you my West Coast South Side to my Jersey friends, but that's the harmonica. Oh fuck. Yeah. Well now I have to ask you. You do one rap in the middle of "Baby Please Don't Go." One of the raps is about being in New Orleans and seeing a street harmonica player and asking where he got that and how he played it. I'm back to The Reckoning, and I'm sorry. It's just, all those the stories that you told, they seem very autobiographical, and it's hard to tell whether they're fictional or not. But I would imagine in some cases they are not. In
all cases they are not.
I didn't want to leap to that conclusion, but The Reckoning. Off Addict. Tell me about where that song came from. Tell me about that album.
Addict?
Yeah.
That was That was actually, I've been sober March 13th. I've been sober 6 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that period of making that album, was probably the darkest period of my life. It was right towards the end of my using. There was only one way out at that point. You know, at least I thought there was one way out for me. So the lyrics and the songs on that album are very poignant because they were almost like a goodbye in a sense, you know. And I realize that now. I didn't know that at the time, but I go back and it's like I wanted to leave some kind of note if it went that way, you know. And a song like Reckoning it's very dark because it was a defiant thing, you know. It was defiant to God and anything that was good in the world, you know, because I felt the opposite. You know, I felt the opposite. So some of the lyrics in that song are some of my best. Yeah, so I don't know what else to say about that one.
No, that's okay. That knocked something loose. That was enough.
Okay.
The part of you that says, I don't need help, has that part matured or evolved at all with time?
And you mean in general or just in terms of addiction? Because that's been an issue in my life across the board.
Well, so then both.
Yeah. It's actually, look, I in the last 6 years, I've had to completely embrace humility in all aspects of my career and my life, and the way I deal with authority, everything. You know, I'm just a small cog in this massive machine that, you know, and if I don't somehow just open up to the universe and let whatever's going to happen in, I'm closing myself off to all of the opportunity to be happy, to find peace.
Mm-hmm.
So I you know, for example, getting sober, when I finally just, you know, not to be cliche, but when I finally surrendered and asked for help, that was a game changer.
Fuck. Yeah, I can imagine, and that takes great strength.
It does.
I'm sure it didn't feel that way then, but it does.
No, it didn't, and it does. You know, and that's one of the things I'm trying to convey. I've always been very open about my battle with addiction, but what I found was I was self-loathing, living in this thing that I was hopeless, right? And I believed that I was hopeless, and I believed that whatever was happening to me was individual to only me. And when I realized that this was an epidemic, that people suffer from this, and that you can get better, and that there is hope, that changed everything. So if anything, if you write anything in this interview, in this article, is that no matter how helpless you feel, no matter how much you think you cannot be helped, no matter how much you think that you are at death's door, you can always come back. If you just ask for help, and if that first person doesn't listen, you ask the next person. You continue to ask because you can get better, and I am the testament to that.
I agree with you. It doesn't make it easy, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I plan on doing a piece about the correlation between, it's actually kind of the look of Freud's interpretation of the mind and, you know, based in Freudian theory, why so many of our most beloved artists are either troubled or gone. And that is both in the sense of mental illness and substance abuse. While they're two separate things, they could both tie together. I'm sure you're aware.
100%.
I think that it is my opinion that like the tortured artist is that because the best of them had to be that fucking vulnerable and they were able to go that much deeper than the mere mortal into their subconscious, and that's where all the ugly shit lives. So it's no wonder you're fucking fucked up. And that's kind of my theory to the tortured artist, and kind of like the piece I've been thinking about. Based on that, I mean, do you see a correlation between the vulnerability that's needed to create and the inclination toward substance abuse and possibly even mental illness, if you wanted to comment on that? And did you ever maybe use it as a creative aid? Because that's a problem too for some people, that they feel they can't create without.
Right. I myself was able to debunk that myth in my own life. I used to believe that you had to be fucked up to be able to find other levels of music. And I literally found, I'm not just saying this, I have had more success. I've written some of my best music sober. So, but I still pull from that. Yes, I've suffered in my life, and it's something that I carry with me. It doesn't define me, but I carry with me. And but the thing is, now I can pull from that, but I'm gonna wake up the next day, you know. And I think for those guys that are out there, you know, it's a myth, man. It's a myth. Just figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, just continue to write, continue to find yourself in sobriety. It's gonna be just as great, if not better.
That's really that. I think that'll help a lot of people. I really do. So just a couple questions left. Why does Vegas keep, you know, what's with Vegas as this ass you can't quit? Like,
It's funny you say that, because I remember a long time, someone asked me that when I was a kid, like when we were promoting my first album. I was like, Vegas to me is like this, it's like this beautiful, beautiful woman. Like, you know she's going to break your heart. You know she's going to get you in trouble, but you just can't stay away. That's what it is to me.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
Okay. You don't have to explain it further because I've been there. Give me 3 things you can live with and 3 things you can't live without, and you can't count your kids, unfortunately, because that's assumed.
Right. Well, I was going to name each one of them individually.
Well, you don't even get to name them as a group.
No, yeah.
And by the way, I did see your kids in one of the interviews on a Thanksgiving video. This really was a lot of research. I don't watch this much of you. I'd love to, because I enjoyed every second of it. I think, honestly, the Sons of Anarchy stuff, that's probably my favorite stuff. That's probably, like, in terms of my musical taste, that's some of the stuff that appeals to me the most. But
Brad, that was a great period of my life. That was awesome. That opened a lot of doors too.
Really? Yeah, that was a really cool show you did. Oh my God, I posted it. Man, there must be like 20 videos of yours on my whole Facebook feed is like you, because every time I found something I liked, I posted it.
I gotta continue. Keep doing it.
As long as you don't mind. Hey, listen.
I don't mind at all.
If you don't mind me tagging the shit out of you, because sometimes I feel bad. I do feel bad. I'm so careful with that stuff, you know, like with Matt especially, because I had to tag Matt on something because it was just the only proper way to post it, you know.
Yeah.
And he liked it, so I'm like, oh God, why do I need this validation? But thank God.
No, it's awesome. It's awesome. I really, truly appreciate that. And it's like, it's always nice to have someone, because you get it. You know what I mean? Like you get it, and you explain it properly. It's like, you keep doing what you're doing. I truly appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that feedback, because coming from you, it means a lot, you know, and I honestly didn't get feedback like that until I got here, or until that trajectory changed where all of a sudden I got like this guy and that guy and this guy putting their number in my phone, telling their friends to hold up when they're saying, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "No, you don't understand. She fucking gets it." Maybe I do get it, but in Jersey, there was no conversation of that. So it's a good thing. I'm glad I'm here. I'm really glad I'm here. The adjustment has been a fucking bitch. Talk about lost angels. I went out, I bought myself a compass necklace. I'm just floating through space, legitimately. I am on a different planet, but I'll figure it the fuck out. I don't care how long it takes.
You will.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to tell you, you're fucking nuts, but I fucking love it.
I know, I am totally fucking nuts.
I'm going to be stone cold straight with you.
I am batshit crazy, dude. I am batshit crazy. Oh my God.
Hey, let me tell you something. Those are the people that make a difference. So keep doing what you're doing.
What was the moment that was the realization? When I ran up to Matt to make sure that fucking Eddie Trunk was asking the right questions.
No. First day I met you. Oh, yeah. She gets it.
She gets it, but she's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It's the highest compliment. It really is, especially coming from guys, you know, who get it. Then they're telling me I get it. I'm like, all right, so you know what? I believe me. I take a lot of people by surprise here.
Just keep doing what you're doing, because the truth of the matter is, if you curve that in any way, then it's going to take your authenticity away, and it's like, and that is what is great about what you do.
Yeah, no, I couldn't
do it. Fucking ram it down their fucking throats. Keep doing what you're doing.
I couldn't curve it. I walk into fucking Rodeo Drive, you know, skincare places like I'm Motley fucking Crue. like, let's party. Let's get the champagne. Then people get a kick out of me, but sometimes it doesn't go correctly. But that's okay. It's all good. So 3 things you can't live with, 3 things you can't live without.
Can and can't. You know what? You might have to. You're not putting this out tonight, right? When I say you have my number, you have to text me that question, because I just don't want to spit that out. I'm going to go on a hike and think about that, and I'll respond to those.
Oh, okay. It's just meant to be a fun question. I'll text it to you, but it's just meant to be a fun question. So
I know for some reason I'm like I'm going blank. But you text me that question again, and I'll give you something good tonight.
I will. There's no rush, and you just let me know, because again, this isn't going to happen for a while, and I'm going to see you in a few days anyway. But you just let me know.
Yeah, seriously, like that's great, because we could use it. I love that. Wow, that's deep. I like it.
It's true, and I'm deep. What are you going to do? I'm sorry, I'm so batshit crazy. I will try and spare you the cons of that side. All right.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Frankie. I look forward to seeing you this week.
Yeah. Me too. Thanks. Have a great day.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
3 things I can't live without: a tight, nasty rhythm section, my 69 Slingerland drum set, a stage. 3 things I can live without: a drummer that rushes, an out-of-tune piano, and crowd barricades at concerts.